Ramesh Srinivasan is a professor at the Department of Information Studies at UCLA, where he's also the director of UC Digital Cultures Lab, and he joins us from Los Angeles. Good to have you with us. Now, President Trump doesn't want Apple rather, to make its iPhones in China. Now he's saying he doesn't want them made in India either. What do you make of that?
Well, it's a bit of a soap opera, really, in some sense. So, of course, much cheaper labor to assemble these digital devices, including iPhones, but just hardware and technologies of all kinds is found in China and also in India. We also have to note that China and India are very much rivals and competitors, not just economically, but politically throughout history and even into the present. So you can find cheap labor in both these locations, yet there's a lot of conversation being here in the United States that we're going to try to move assembly here to the United States. And of course, Trump's entire sort of rhetoric is one about, going nationalist and America first, right? So of course, the cost, though, to assemble and produce and manufacture devices here is much more costly, and people may not even have quite the same level of experience and fluency with those things as in places like China and more recently India. So basically, this is all a geopolitical game, and it's directly tied to the incredible power that Apple has all over the world and who actually builds these technologies. Noting fully well that at some point, all of that labor or much of that labor might be automated, right? It might be machines themselves, AI systems, robotic systems in this case, that might do much of that assembly line. So then the big question looms, which is, what is the future of work for all of us around the planet in very different ways in different places? And how are we going to ensure that we are all economically secure as more and more gets delegated, not just to Apple, but potentially to its privatized automated AI systems?
Oh my gosh, Ramesh, this is a whole other topic that you and I are going to have to discuss at some point in the future, okay? For the meantime, though,
I'd love that.
Does India have the capacity, the ability to help China, to help Apple move away from China? Prime Minister Modi has been touting his country as a smartphone manufacturing hub for quite a while now, but is it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it may not be like fully at the level of China as of yet, but it will reach there. And it's already, as you reported, already for the last couple of years, there's been a lot of movement over to India itself. India has an incredibly high population. In fact, the highest population in the world. I'm of Indian descent myself. And India's long been a place where many, many things are being created and produced. For example, many pharmaceuticals are created in India, but also many like devices and industrial technologies.
To what extent is the current trade war truce, let's call it that, for the moment, between the US and China going to upset India's plans?
It likely could, right? So what Trump is trying to do is, of course, be best buddies with India in many cases. We've already seen, some meetings between Trump and Narendra Modi. But at the same time, this sort of, we could say, détente in the U.S.-China trade war might mean, we don't really know the details as of yet, that China requests that, Apple continues to do the vast majority, if not all of its manufacturing in China itself. But then what happens to workers here in the US? Well, we know that most of us are about to experience cuts in Medicaid and I would say pretty essential services for working and middle class peoples, while there's a massive tax cut for the rich. That's not necessarily going to help with creating jobs or the overall macroeconomics of the economy.
Ramesh, it's been great to talk to you. You and I are going to have that conversation about what AI is going to do to all of our jobs very soon, I hope.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.